What's up, fam? I'm Chappell, host of the Recap Kickback podcast, here for the exit interviews for Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. With me, my amazing co-host, Jenny Autumn, and the most recently eliminated contestant from Deal or No Deal Island Season 2, MG. MG, what's up?
Hey, I'm doing okay. All considering of last night. How are y'all?
We're good, MG, and very excited
Good.
to talk to you, right, Jenny?
Oh yeah, a big episode. Lots to get through here. I think my first question has to be about, obviously it seems like you're shocked to be eliminated here. Um, did you talk much with Will? Was there any fear that he might go off the script and not eliminate CK? Was that a consideration, or did you feel like 100% safe?
I felt 100% safe until when, right before Temple, me and Parvati took a nap together. And I woke up and she was like, I think you have to play tonight. I have a bad feeling. And I was like, no, like, I think you're crazy. She goes, this is something Will would do. You need to play tonight. And then Letty asked me, do you want to play? And I said, no. Parvati was like, okay, I'm just telling you. In hindsight, maybe I should have trusted the Survivor legend.
So this explains when Parvati was saying, "See, I told you this
Oh, yeah.
guy."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I turn around and I go, like you were right. She's like, I told you. So that was really sad.
Yeah, you had some really strong words about Dr. Will by the end of the episode. What's y'all status now? Because rumor has it you work for his company.
Yes, so I did say he was a garbage person, all those kind of things. And Dr. Will, as Dr. Will on TV, is garbage, and I won't take that back. He is awful. He makes, I won't, like, I'm not going to, and I'll tell him to his face. Like, I can't,
I
in the
believe that.
game, if I ever have to play another reality TV show and he shows up, I think I'm going to cry. Like, he makes it miserable for everyone. Not one person liked him. And it is funny to watch on TV, but no, he makes it miserable. Everyone is pissed. Funny enough, I'm actually doing the interview at his house right now. But
That is a twist I was not prepared for.
yeah, he came in on my other interview and like brought me snacks. Um, yeah, I do.
What a
Rumor
good
is true.
boss.
Great boss. Rumor is true. He did offer me a job while I was still on the island, and I was like, okay, he's kidding. And then after wrapping, I went home, and then 2 weeks later, I get an email, and he had put me in an email chain with a bunch of his execs from the company, and was like, "We're gonna get her a job." And I was like, "Whoa, like in LA?" And he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna move to LA and like actually express yourself and get out of your small town." 2 weeks later, I shipped my car and I flew out here, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
That is crazy. Congratulations on that. He had some kind words to say about you in the game. And he also outed that it was some of the other people on the island, your other contestants, that really tried to weaponize him to come after the family. Were you surprised to watch that when you got home and got to watch the episode with Dr. Will?
Yeah, no, it was probably the most shocking out of all of it. Obviously, I already knew I was leaving and I already knew he was kicking me out. So I was just waiting for that like dagger in my heart. But seeing Seychelle and just loving her as a person, like she's flying into LA and I'm getting dinner with her Sunday, just knowing, like, loving her as a person and seeing where she's like, this is gonna be like watching Sex in the City the first time, looking at her face. And I was like, wow, wow.
So sorry. I gotta grab my
Oh my
headset.
goodness.
How you doing? Sorry, guest appearance.
What's up,
My
Doc?
bad.
Oh,
MC's the
hello,
best. I'm
hello.
sorry. I'm really
Oh
sorry.
my
I'm,
goodness.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Will, we only have so much time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We have to extend the interview now.
Yeah, Jenny, what's next?
No, I wanted to expand on that though, because, obviously when you watch the episode, you get the context that like Seychelle and some of the other players were behind this. But in the moment when Will is saying that there were forces behind the scenes, did you suspect anything? Because we can see in the episode, like, Seychelle's making faces during this. Obviously, Letty was the person who chose Will to face the banker in the first place. Did you suspect that Will was telling the truth and that there were people actually with him on this, or was this something that you really didn't get filled in on until watching the episode?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I After talking with him after filming, they he told me, he was like, MJ, like, I would have not taken you out. There's a whole team behind me. And up until last night, I truthfully never believed him. And then we're watching it. And he's like, see, I told you it was Seychelle. It was Seychelle. And then I'm talking to Seychelle about it. And she's like, I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry, my love. But I did take you out. I'm sorry. And he's
I can hear that in her voice.
yeah, sorry, love. My sweet little angel. Like,
Oh, wow. MG, you were targeted because you were the only vulnerable member of the family. How did this family alliance start? And did you realize it was going to be such a big part of your story?
I didn't even know I was in the family. I didn't even know. I didn't know until I went to a confessional and they were like, so how do you feel about being a part of the family? I was like, wait, well, I'm a part of the I said, I don't want anything to do with this family, which didn't make the cut. But seriously, I did not know it was such a threat. I was just, David was my number one. And I also knew Parvati's secret. So I guess I just kind of got roped into it when I did the Storm thing. And then they come and sit on each other's laps. And they're like, oh, we're mom and dad. I was like, wait, I am in the family. And it's a very public family. Like, there's no hiding this family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about like the public nature of the family because, yeah, like you said, it was very obvious and open to the other contestants at a certain point that it was like you four and that it was some sort of family. Were you seeing anything coming together alliance-wise with like the other players? Like obviously, like you said, that you weren't really sure that there were people behind your elimination besides Will, but were you noticing anything else emerging? Was there anyone in particular that you were worried about?
Honestly, I knew Dixon was in my alliance. I know that he didn't go up against the Baker, that he won that challenge, but him taking Storm out and seeing how big it was, I was thinking, what if he is gunning for me next so he could say he took out the Showmance? That was always in the back of my head. It's just really hard because you don't see the full picture when you're there. So I never knew, and no one talked about it either. You can tell that no one is openly talking about how they didn't like the family. Everyone is talking about it in confessionals. So that proves the point of, I never knew it was a threat. I was like, I don't really want to be a part of this family, but I guess I will. If I'm in alliance with these people, I'll call it the family. But you can tell people really are upset about it later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned Storm, but we saw that the Showmance was targeted. Now, we were teased at the very beginning of the season that there was this Showmance coming. We saw the clips, and it only really lasted for one episode. Can you give us your perspective of how this developed, and what was your experience watching Storm get eliminated in the last week's episode?
Yeah, so I think it was just the way they edited things. I mean, there's so much content, but we were like inseparable from day one. Like on the boat, like as soon as we got on the boat and we like saw each other, I was like, oh no. And it was really strategic gameplay on my side at the beginning, which I do explain in some confessionals. But and then it just turned into, he was kind of my outlet from strategy because he wasn't really a strategic player, at least what I saw. He might have been in his own tent, but I never saw it openly or thought I could play a game with him. I just truthfully was like, this is an outlet. So we did spend a lot of time together. They did make it more of like an episode mance or whatever, but it was a real connection. Like everyone, I think, thinks like reality TV, oh, a Showmance is all fake, it's for publicity, or it's like for strategic or whatever. It probably would have been better if it was strategic for me, but it wasn't. We really had a great time.
Was that any like silver lining in the elimination? Like, he had just gone out probably like the night or two before. And then obviously we saw the scene where you interrupt his confessional and the kiss happens. Was there a part of you that like kind of says, well, at least I get to go see Storm? And how was the reunion, I guess?
Yeah, so being in a game like a reality TV show, they really make it feel like your life. Like they take your phone, you don't know what time it is, you're with all these strangers with these cameras, so it makes you think it's your real life. So him getting kicked off shattered my heart. Like seriously, it was really, really sad for me. And I was like, I'm never gonna see him again. Because it makes you think that. And then in retrospect, I mean, I was gonna see him at some point, like I was gonna go back home eventually. But so when I'm leaving and I see him in the confessional, I was like, yeah, I was telling everyone, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to him. Like, I'm just going to go. And no one seemed to have a problem with it. So I walked in, I got my kiss, which was nice. And then getting kicked off, that definitely ran through my head. And reuniting with him, if you would say, we had the best time. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't take anything back. Like, we truthfully spent like a week and a half partying on this island with free food, drinks, whatever we wanted, and in like this nice hotel. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it back.
That's got to soften the blow of the elimination a little bit.
Yeah, it did. It did. It definitely, it made it better. That night when I got kicked off, I went back to the hotel, and they don't like you to see other castmates right when you get kicked off. They want you to be able to process it and like get back into real life. And he snuck in my room and brought me a bottle of tequila that night. And he was like, "We're going to party now." And I was like crying, and I was like, "No, I don't want to party. Like, I want to cry." And he was like, "No, we're partying." So
sometimes you need to bring your crying friend some tequila. It's a proven strategy.
Yeah, he loves tequila.
Yeah. Listen, Texas boys, okay?
Yeah.
MG, are you a fan of shows like this, these competition reality shows? Because we did see you explaining to David what Survivor was.
I had never watched a full episode of reality TV before going on, which makes it really obvious, I think it would have helped if I would have watched more. I didn't know it was going to be this intense. You can tell that I really don't know what I'm talking about when I'm explaining Survivor. I'm like, you take these things, you mesh. Since now I've watched Will seasons, and I've watched Parvati seasons, and they are very good. And I should have watched them beforehand, but I mean, I didn't even know they were going to be there also. Like when you get on that boat, you don't even know. So it did take me a second to be like, is that the TV girl? Like, and then she ends up telling me I won Survivor. Like, she kind of told me that thinking I already knew. So then when I told David she won Survivor, she told me that. He's like, really? And I'm like, yes, I promise. She told me. I'm not lying. And he's like, wow.
I have to ask more about, you said that you've watched Will seasons. I'm sorry. I'm picturing him sitting you down right next to you, putting it on. Let's watch it as a family. Sorry to bring up the family. Like, did you do this on your own accord, or did Will say, like, here's what you got to do. Let's start here. Yeah.
This is your first job for my company, is watching all of my seasons and praising me.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, I did watch them on my own accord. I didn't watch his full seasons just because it is filmed so long ago, and they're kind of hard to find, but I did get the gist of his game, and he hasn't strayed from that line. Let's be honest. I mean, if you're talking about someone that's consistent in a square in a box, I mean, that's him. From back when he was in his 30s to now in his 50s, he has not changed. So if I would have watched that beforehand, I think I would have had a better idea.
Yeah. Were you a fan of season 1 of Deal or No Deal Island? How'd you find yourself on the show?
I actually hadn't watched the first season, but I was watching The Bachelor, and apply this link to be on the next season. I applied to the link, and I just kind of answered the question silly because I was like, why not? Like, when they was a clickbait thing, like, win a bunch of money. So I was like, duh, like, who's not gonna want to win a bunch of money? And then I got a call back, and they were like, okay, like, you're moving deeper into the application process. Like, we're doing more interviews with you. You need, like, did you watch the first season? And I was like, yeah. So he was like, okay, well, your next interview's in like the next 2 days, and you need to know the characters from the first season and talk about them. And I was like, no problem. And in the next 2 days, I binge watched the first season.
Oh, wow. Now that you've seen, well, obviously you binged, the first season of Dondi, and then, some of Will and Parvati's work. Have you gotten like the reality TV bug? Like, do you feel like it's something you would want to do again, or are you like, I am comfortable with my relationship with reality TV?
I kind of want to go back just to be like, I know what I did wrong. I know what I could do differently. I have good plans now. I understand it a little more. So I just want to go back for redemption. I don't want like a 30-year career like my other co-hosts, but I do want to go back for redemption.
Oh, we would love to see that. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media, where they can keep up with what you got going on and what you got going on with Dr. Will.
Oh, gosh. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's maria.grace00. And then on TikTok, it's maria.grace000. Yeah, follow me. And I'll be posting more content and stuff with Storm just from previous things. And if you want laser hair removal, hit me up on Instagram because I will get you the best packages out there.
I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thank you so much, MG. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, everyone. That was MG, the most recently eliminated contestant from Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. To keep up with more of our coverage of Deal or No Deal Island, please remember to subscribe to the We Know Dondi podcast feed for weekly episode recaps and more on WeKnowRealityTV.com.